So I grew up in Western Canada, in Alberta, into a farming community, and loved that work a great deal. And I remember first going to divinity school years ago and discovering that nobody was talking about the land. It didn't show up in any of the syllabi that I was taking the classes in. And there certainly weren't any farmers on campus to talk about how they were thinking about this world. And I was a bit puzzled by it because I thought that the perspective of agriculture should be very important to people because it's the most dominant way that people have lived in this world for a very, very long time. And growing up amongst farmers, I also had come to see that farming people think about the world in significantly different ways than my urban friends. And yet their perspective wasn't apparent. And the same thing happened when I went on to do PhD studies in philosophy. Again, no farmers were present and no teachers, no philosophers that I was really aware of were talking about the land either. It seemed that both in my theological education and in my philosophical education, the focus was almost entirely on human beings. And as I thought more about this, I realized that this is deeply troubling because human beings cannot exist apart from land. They can't exist apart from plants, the lives of animals, the lives of insects, such that if any of these other realities, land realities we might call them, if any of those are put in trouble, human beings are put in trouble at the same time. But that wasn't registering. I look back onto my own experience and I discovered that this farming community, which was a church-based community, I discovered that at the same time in our church, the sermons were never about agriculture, even though all the parishioners, most all of them, were themselves farmers. They were gardeners. They were people who spent their lives taking care of plants and animals. And yet there was hardly a sermon that I can remember in which this work and these creatures were talked about.